So here is the power, not the power board, but the high voltage side. There's the transistors, or the transformer. There's a bunch of like chip ICs down here. I've just got everything unplugged from this board. These little ribbon connectors are, well, they're not ribbon connectors, but they just unsnap from this board going over to the other board. You just pick a corner, pull it up, get the other side, and they just kind of hinge up to the side, these connectors here. I've got the board loose. Let me turn it over. I can't disconnect everything from the board. The high voltage transformers right there, I can't unplug it right now, but get the board up, kind of set it up like that. And here's the bottom of the high voltage side. There's the transformer. There's a lot of coils and chips and ICs and everything on this board. I'm going to do the same thing on this board like I did the other board. I can't take this board out. Lighting is not the greatest in this room. But I'm going to go over this section, make sure any loose connections that I see, and then I'll go down here to the high voltage area down here at the bottom. I just kind of gave it a general look over, hadn't really seen anything standing out, but like the other board, I didn't see really much, but a few connections here and there. So I'm going to work on this, look at it, scroll through a section or two, and then if I have to, we'll pull this other board out and go over it. Camera light and everything is not the greatest, but anyway, this other board, this is the input board for this TV. Video, it's like I said, it's older, it's 2002 or 2003 this TV is, but I'm going to just go over this board here, this power supply or high voltage section board, whatever it's called. Yeah, high voltage. I mean, this is basically where all the power goes to the picture tubes, which are right here, and they're pretty dusty. As you can see, that'll be getting a good clean. And the other screen looks pretty good. And then back here, there is a mirror. I'll have to look at the camera view of that and see, you know, kind of what shape the mirror is in as far as getting it clean. So yeah, I'll just go over this high voltage board here, start in one section, work my way around, solder any loose connections that look suspicious. Like I said, I just gave it a general once over. So we'll come back into it and if I find anything. So I'm still working. I did find these connections. They look pretty bad. If it'll focus in. Not all of them, just a few here and there. I'm going to go around and look at them. And I've found a few little small, like, you know, some of these little capacitors and things like that. Not finding many things. I went over the transformer here and here, went over these connections again, just reflow the solder to them. Finding little small, little breaks in some of the solder leads, you know, that I'm looking at. Just a few here and there, you know, I've probably done 10 or so little small that looked like they needed just a little bit of more solder in them. So still checking this board. It's, you know, about 15 minutes later, I'm still going over it. There's a lot of little components and things on here, as you can see. So I'm just kind of really scrutinizing everything. Like I'm starting in this section, I'm going down really slow, make sure, like these transistors here, I believe that's what they are, you know, and some capacitors and some of the big connections. I've been going over and just reflowing a lot of the solder back on them, and then I'm going through a lot of the smaller connections, and like right here, you know, this one is pretty bad. You can see it right there in the middle, and some of these others look really good. Just going around, I think those are on a ground plane, not really sure. But yeah, this board is almost done. Still checking it out, and any kind of other little things. Like I said, there's some small, like, little capacitors, you know, that I've like reflowed some of the solder to, just because they're like almost flat, should have like a little bubble on top of them. So I'm just going back through and checking them out and making sure everything else is looking good on this one. And then I will start on this other board and pull it out and pull it up and check, make sure any of these solder joints are in good shape, and clean them up if they aren't. And I cleaned the lenses. There is the blue, I believe that's the green, and then there's the red. So red, green, and blue lenses on the back of this TV. And it is a KP 53HS30 TV. It's a rear projection. It says August 2002. I think he said he bought it in 2003. I'll have to check with him. But yeah, so just plugging right along and getting the solder connections. Like I said, I've checked a lot of the capacitors. I didn't like with a meter. I just kind of checked them, make sure that the tops and there was nothing leaking around on them. And I'll do the same over here on this. This has got a lot of grounds. As you see, these cases right here, these metal cases, they're for like the inputs and tuner and things inside this TV, because this is an older TV, it's not digital. So yeah, we'll just keep trucking right along. And like I said, I found a few small ones here and there, and I'm still going through these bigger connections here just to make sure they're all in good shape and all over the board. Any of the bigger connections, they usually have a lot of breaks on them. So, well, the TV is running. It's looking good. It's I cleaned the screen off. It needs to be you know, straightened out, but everything seems to be all right on it. So here I've gotten everything back connected up. I made sure all my wires and plugs and everything, and as you can see, the picture tubes are working. Everything seems to be fine. I cleaned the lenses. Couldn't clean the mirror on the back, but you can kind of see the reverse picture. So everything seems like it's all right. So if you have this same problem, you know, it's not a big deal. Have a soldering iron, and we should be fine.